Hey guys, yesterday was my tummy tuck consultation as I mentioned, and I wanted to do a video on how that experience went for me, what my hopes are for the procedure and what my disappointments are, and just all in all, the whole process. So I drove down to Vancouver yesterday thinking I had, plenty of time to get down there, and unfortunately, City of Vancouver decided to do some paving on the #1 highway, so I ended up being 15 minutes late. And I'm not too sure if this is like a punishment thing or a teach me a lesson to not be late thing. Point noted. But I had to sit for about 30 to 40 minutes in the doctor's office to wait for her. So I'm not too sure if I got put to the back of the line or what, but waiting was not so awesome. The consultation costs $160, and as long as you put that money to, as long as you book your surgery within 6 months, that money will go towards your surgery. So you bet I'm going to be making sure that I book my surgery within 6 months, because $160 is a lot of money. I brought my mom into the waiting room with me, or rather the doctor's office with me, and since we waited there for 30 to 40 minutes, we sat around joking about how much stuff we'd have to steal to be able to resell it and make back our $160 in the consult fee. Currently have a huge bag of free Werthers and cotton swabs and gauze in my bag if anybody wants to buy any. Just kidding. Anyways, so the doctor came in and asked me a few questions. She asked me if I'd had any kids. She asked me about my weight loss, whether I smoke, just all the basic information. And then she left the room and I got changed into an open at the front type gown. And she came back in. So she examined me, she took some pictures, and I gotta be honest, if you're not used to having someone else touch your body and you're pretty uncomfortable with your body as it is, having someone else's cold hands on your stomach is not the best feeling in the world. It wasn't exactly the most comfortable thing. And with my mom there, still wasn't very comfortable either. But I mean, International Bank of Mom had to come because I'm going to be borrowing some money off her. But all in all, it wasn't very like the most comfortable procedure. The doctor is incredibly knowledgeable. She answered, well, of course she's knowledgeable. What a stupid thing to say. She's the surgeon. The doctor was very informative. She answered all of my questions. I asked questions, for example, about stretch marks. Like, I do not have any stretch marks in the top area of my stomach. I have them a little bit on my hips and a little bit on my lower stomach. And I asked her whether or not those stretch marks would be all gone with the surgery. And she did tell me that for the most part, 90% of those stretch marks were not going to be there after the surgery. I also asked her about belly buttons, and she says for most people she remakes the belly button, but in my case she would just sort of cut it off and put it back to where it was supposed to be. Another thing that she mentioned was that the liposuction is included. So if you need some liposuction before you get your tummy tuck done, that's included in the cost. And she suggested doing some liposuction around my sides. But she also suggested doing some liposuction on my love handles in the back, because if I'm going under the knife and I want the full sort of aesthetic appeal of what I want it to look like, she did suggest doing some lipo in the back, and that would be added cost. Now, I also asked her about the scar and how and where she positions the scar, because I've noticed that some of the scars on the internet are kind of a little bit higher up, and I do want mine to be as low as possible. And now she said that she positions the scar as low as she possibly can. Most people have a natural fold to their stomach at the bottom, and that's sort of where she does it. However, if you have a lot of stretch marks at the bottom, she positions the scar where it's the most aesthetically pleasing to get rid of those stretch marks. So it might be a little bit higher if you've got a lot of stretch marks at the bottom, because she might want to just get rid of those for you. The way she said the surgery would go is I would start off on my stomach, and she would liposuction the back side, and then while I'm sleeping, obviously, she'd flip me over, and then actually she would liposuction the sides, make the incision, and get rid of that extra skin. But when she's suturing me back up, she would actually sit me up and take off all the extra skin at the bottom and sew me up while I'm sitting up, so that you get the tightest stomach possible, and there's nothing that hangs over when you sit up, and your stomach is as tight as possible. So after all my questions were answered, we went into the surgery coordinator's office, and that's where sort of the disappointing part happened. Now, I asked my girlfriend how much her tummy tuck cost, and it was just over $8,000. And honest to God, I thought that mine would cost the same. Not even close. I was quoted $9,570.60 for my full tummy tuck based on how long I would be in the operating room. And now if I wanted the full meal deal Ferrari version with the side liposuction of the back, it would cost me $13,437.90. So I guess this is kind of where I'm just a little bit bummed out, because I really thought that I'd be able to get this done in December. I am saving up the money by myself, and I had anticipated that I would have had enough by then to get it done, but because I really just want to get everything done at the same time, I do want to go for the liposuction option. I guess I'm gonna have to wait until February, which is kind of a disappointment, because I really was hoping to get it done before Christmas and my birthday and all that stuff. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna keep working on my weight loss and keep trucking along, and hope trucking along, really. Keep working on my weight loss, and I'm sure that just an extra 2 months will fly by quickly. But it was kind of the bummer, because I really thought that, you know, it was going to be just over $8,000. I would have had the money saved up by then, and I could get all that done before my 29th birthday. But such is life. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm gonna post a couple of videos tomorrow on some updates and just other things that are happening and some other information. But if you got any questions or any feedback or anything like that, make sure that you shoot me a message or post below, and I will talk to you guys all real soon. All right.